Hi, everybody. This is Dawn Mitchell, and welcome to Dawn of Sports. This week, once again, another powerhouse double dose of amazing women. We, just like we have the past couple of weeks, we'll talk to Lea B. Olsen. We have a lot to talk about from the Minnesota Lynx, not only since they've lost, but what has been going on with powerful voices from Napheesa Collier and then some. Also, coming up after that, we speak to Lori Ann Johnson. She's a Minnesota native who is a Canicross runner. And if you haven't heard about that, that's when you run with your dog in a race. The first ever World Dryland Mushing Canicross Championships will come to Wisconsin. The first time this will be held in the United States has been held elsewhere for years, and that's beginning October 20th. But first, coming up, we're going to talk with Lea B. Olsen.
That's right. Looking forward to talking to Lea. So much to catch up on here. Dawn and I were off on our world travels last week, and I'm afraid we missed a great week to talk about the Lynx. We'll make up for today. This show is coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services Studios, and this is TalkNorth.com. Great lineup, great people. Best way to listen to this show or any show you like on the network, please subscribe at your favorite podcast app. It's free. It's the easiest way to listen. Thanks also to our sponsors, Lexus, Wayzata, and Maplewood, and Minnesota Masonic Charities. Back to you, Dawn.
Oh my goodness. Lea, do we ever have a lot to catch up on? We thought we would just be talking basketball and see them to perhaps the Lynx go on to the WNBA finals. That didn't happen. Then there were powerful things that happened, not only from head coach and president of basketball ops Cheryl Reeve, but then Napheesa lately. So let's go back, rewind the tape a little bit. Lynx losing game 4, unfortunately, to the Mercury back on the 28th, 86-81, still a close game. And then afterwards, the powder keg exploded even more. Let's go back to that game and the disappointing loss, because we knew kind of how things were heading when Napheesa broke her ankle and everything happened with head coach Cheryl Reeve. And just, you could tell that the Lynx had lost their cool, so to speak, with everything going on in the league. But let's go back to that moment when they lost in the semifinals. How were you feeling, first of all, as a journalist and a person, knowing what was at stake for this team this entire year?
Absolutely shocked. To be honest with you, I never once anticipated this entire season that the Lynx would not get to the finals. And so even in that game, as things were going to the left, I still was pretty wholeheartedly believing that this team could pull it off. Obviously, really disheartened when, Napheesa Collier went down with the injury. And I understand Coach Reeve in that moment. I think a couple of things were happening. One, she's seen her star player going down in a physical play once again, coming down to officiating in a key game. And I think it just built on top of what happened last year in the finals game when they believed that the finals were stolen from them. And so I've never seen Coach Reeve kind of that upset, going that crazy before ever. And, we've seen some outbursts before, and we saw what she did last year in the finals, but this was different. And so I just think there was a lot, and it speaks to the WNBA and the officiating and what's been going on for the last year and a half. And there was just so much. But just to speak to the Lynx not making it to the finals, I'm absolutely shocked that this team, who was number one in the W all season long, best defense, best offense, did not make it past Phoenix.
Yeah, I agree with you, Lea. I also think that it almost speaks to the magic trick this team kept pulling off the last year and a half, 2 years. And that is, I never thought this was a dominant physical team. And yet they just played such beautiful basketball together. They're so cohesive. They're so well coached. They kept on playing really maybe above their talent level. And I did worry about Phoenix just being a physical team that was playing well, has Alyssa Thomas. But yeah, I mean, I'm surprised they lost. I thought they might have trouble in the finals with Vegas, but I don't know. I don't know which feels more tragic. I'd like your opinion on that. To lose game 5 basically because of officiating, at least that, to a large part in the fourth quarter because of officiating, or to lose this year when you were clearly the dominant team in the league all year and you don't make it to the finals? Which one hurts more, do you think?
I still think the finals one hurts more, just because, you're like inches away right there. You still got to be in the semifinals, you still got a ways to go to get to where you need to get. But in that finals game, you are so close, and you could just barely, you're just waiting to, hold the trophy and do all the things. And so that one, for me, at least, the players and coaches may think differently on that. You're right. I actually said before the series, and it was something that we saw throughout the season, the way that Atlanta beat us, the way that Seattle beat us, it was teams that had physical post play were a problem for us. That's why the Dejanay Carrington move was so smart. And then that ended up not working because she was injured sitting on the bench. But her physicality, this Lynx team they're a physical team, but they're not a dominating, intimidating type of team. And so I was very worried when I saw how good Phoenix was playing. And Alyssa Thomas is always really good against us, and she plays bully ball, and that's her style. It's not just with Minnesota. And I thought she did that to the nth degree against us. She was forcing the hands of the officials, saying, I'm going to play as physical as I can until you make me stop. And, that's her prerogative. To be honest with you, if I was a coach, that's how I would have played the Lynx too.
Yep.
So I do think, I'm hopeful and curious how they're going to clean up the officiating in the WNBA. And I think some of the things that have come out since then have shown that like a lot of the officials just don't have enough experience that the Lynx get or the WNBA gets. And part of it is because how they pay them and all of those things. I think they have to create some type of feeder system that will allow the best officiating possible to come through there, and then a pay scale that will allow people to maybe say, hey, I don't need to officiate in the NBA. I'll go over to the WNBA. And so I think, though, it's going to take those two things to really change what we have seen in the W this season.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's the point that I want to jump to the next. We saw what happened with Caitlin Clark as well throughout the whole season, where officiating didn't go her way, and it was kind of crazy. And I think a lot of people were like, oh, it's Caitlin, blah, blah. It's either you love her or you hate her kind of rift. And then when coming off of last year, people complaining about the officiating, I thought it would improve this year. I actually was surprised that after all of everything that came down with the officiating and how Cheryl started speaking out publicly last year about the officiating, that it didn't change. Are you surprised at all and shocked that there was no change this year? They doubled down on letting things go. They doubled down on maybe not having talent officiating wise. And I was shocked. I'm shocked. And I've covered sports for a long time when I started hearing the quote unquote experience that these refs had and that they were allowed to ref some of these games. And Cheryl said that in her, what was her line that she said that about the officiating that was so powerful that it was, what is it? It was like that legal term. I'm spacing on it right now, but Cheryl called them out. Thank you, malpractice. When she said that, I was like, that is perfect. But I was feeling that from the year before. So
right.
If the fans and journalists are frustrated, you can only imagine how the players and the coaches are. Were you shocked that the officiating did not get any better this year? That, in fact, it got worse to the point of malpractice?
Yeah, I was, I'm not sure if surprised, because I think the league, I never heard if the league had ever put anything in place, to change it. It's just not going to get better because it's going to get better. Mm-hmm. And so I had never heard of, okay, well, here's the new system and this is the training ground and they're going to go, year round, or we're going to get more reps for them or whatever that would take to get the best officiating possible. I had just never heard that the league had done anything. So I wasn't sure what to expect other than more of the same. But I do think that the women's game has just changed and evolved, and things catch up. Like for a while in the WNBA, I thought it was the coaching that really needed to catch up. Like I felt like we were one of a few teams back in the day when the Lynx were winning championships that had really good coaching. There were so many teams that I just didn't think had great coaches because they hadn't gotten the experience yet. The time as players, the time as general managers, the time in the league that, it takes to be really good at it. I think now the players are as good as it gets. The coaching has caught up to where it needs to be. And now the officiating has to be there. And let's face it, officiating is always going to be somewhat controversial, but I think people could just agree that you got to control games to protect people.
Yeah.
Just the bottom line. That's all you have to do is start with your whistle and then let it go from there, And so if they could just do that next season, I think that would be big.
Let's save a lot of the big picture discussion about the CBA and negotiations and where the league's headed and where the Lynx are headed and all that. For today, tell me what you thought of Cheryl Reeve, getting thrown out of that game, not being able to coach in game 4. Understandable under the circumstances, or is that a mistake to not have herself on the bench for game 4?
I imagine that was really incredibly difficult for her not to be there with her team on what was the last game of the season for them. And so I'm sure, I haven't heard her say this. This is just my opinion. I'm sure that was incredibly difficult for her and the team. But I think what she was doing was so much bigger actually than the Lynx even getting to the finals. Is she's trying to make a point that this league has to be better. And that, for her to do that, she knew the risk. She understood the risks when she was in the middle of the court, being held back by 3 different people as she was trying to get to a player. And she understood the risks when she went into the press conference room and put everyone, and let everybody know exactly how she was feeling. So I think, I would guess that there would be some regret there just because she couldn't be with her team. But I think overall, she thought it was important for her to do this. And I feel like a lot of times Cheryl Reeve has been used as the person who has to utilize her voice to get change in this league. And so, I think she even said, if I wasn't going to do it, who was? So from that standpoint, the bottom line is we weren't probably going to win it all anyways, right? Because Fee was injured and wasn't going to be back. So in the end, I think it worked out just fine. At the moment, I was very concerned that this wasn't going to be a good look and it was going to be really disappointing for the players.
One voice that I was happy to hear from, and I think maybe a lot of people around the league that don't know who Nafisa Collier is might have been like, oh, okay, surprise. But when Nafisa spoke up and called them basically the worst leadership in the world, and we'll delve deeper into all that, but the fact that Nafisa spoke up calmly and called out specifically Kathy Engelbert, I thought was brilliant. But again, if someone from the Lynx isn't going to speak up, who is? I think the Lynx have just throughout the years have shown that they're the team that will use their voices. Not surprised when Nafisa used her voice during the All-Star game as well. But what were your feelings on that? And how proud of you are you of Nafisa, of how she came across and how she spoke her truth?
Well, it was pretty incredible to watch. I was watching it on a stream. And so I was pretty wowed by like, oh, wow, she's like going for it here. Like she's going, and I could see that she was visibly nervous. And so I was like, this is going to be something big. And then after she said what she said, and like, my phone's just blowing up and I'm texting people, I'm like, watching the reaction around the world on the internet was simply amazing. I mean, the WNBA held down the internet for 2 full days. And to be honest with you, I'm sure they exist somewhere out there. I did not see one negative pushback on Fee.
Yeah, I didn't either. No,
really, I really didn't. And I'll say this, there couldn't be a better spokesperson for the WNBA than Nafisa Collier. And I actually even think if someone else would have done it, it could have come across differently, because people were so surprised because it was Fee and she's calm and she's collected and she's nice and she's sharp and she's all these things. And she doesn't just mouth off and she doesn't just say things without meaning it. So when she speaks, people listen. And I was wowed by the impact that she had. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, she's going to be Time Woman of the Year or Forbes Woman of the Year or something, because in that moment it showed, I just thought it was the most perfect example of how to show up in life. Like, you know, she earned the respect of everybody by the way she had been showing up. And then the day she had to really use her voice, everyone was just kind of blown away by it. So for that, I just give Nafisa Collier all the credit in the world for just kind of being the classiest, a very classy human being.
Yeah, it's hard to be classy when you're tearing down the leadership of an entire league, but she does pull it off. She's built up enough credibility. The way she handles herself, everything she's done in her life, yeah, she does it. So, hey, thanks to Lea B. Olsen. We appreciate it. We're going to talk with Lea again next week. We're going to go deeper into some of the WNBA issues and what might transpire in the future. We're on a knife's edge here with the CBA and whether this Lynx team can keep some of their players. A lot to talk about. For today, we want to thank Lea, and we would like to shift now to Dawn's conversation with Lori Ann Johnson.
This is awesome. So, like we said, Lori Ann Johnson, Minnesota native. Lori, welcome to the podcast, because when I found out that you were going to be part of the Canicross championships, I was fascinated because we hear about mushing and everyone thinks Alaska and, you know, dogs up there and going across the frozen tundra. But I never knew that there was a dry land mushing Canicross championship. So first of all, welcome to the podcast. Second of all, congrats that you're going to represent the USA soon.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me. And yeah, it's been pretty exciting and surprising to say the least. But it's been real fun learning about the sport myself. And there's so much more to it than people realize.
Well, some people don't even realize what it is. So now there's, let me, and correct me if I'm wrong. So there's two, right? You run with your dog. So there's there's a race that way. And then you're also biking, right? A bike jaw with your dog, or is that all together? Please explain how this is.
It depends on the athlete. So there is a couple of different, the Canicross is the person typically at the international level with one dog, but sometimes with two. And then bike jaw, as you had said, also can be with one dog or two. And it's someone on a bike, which sounds like a disaster waiting to happen to me. But I also don't have that kind of soul in me to have two dogs pulling me that fast. But then there's also a scooter or rig pull, which is how dryland mushing really kind of got started, because the sled dogs needed something to do in the winter. And then it developed over time into more of an actual specialized sport. And that's how dryland mushing became as big as it did in Europe. And now it's getting bigger in the US.
Oh my goodness. So first of all, you have to have a dog. So I'm assuming you have a dog. And is this your dog, your pet, or a dog you train with, or how specialized is that?
I would say in my household, it's all of the above. Our dogs are our children. They sleep with us. They do everything with us, and travel with us when possible. But yes, I do train I have a Vizsla, which they are known for running and their energy level. So it started as a way to just kind of keep him out of trouble and keep his energy level going. And then I found out about Canicross running. So that's what we would do, is we would just go out and run together. Now I actually have to train him. So we go out to the trails and we do loops through the trails out at Theo Worth or down at Lebanon, wherever we can find some more challenging hills. And so I do my training and so does he.
Okay, so first of all, what's his name?
Scotty.
Scotty. Oh, how'd you come up with that? Is it just you like people's names for dogs?
I mean, you would think so, because we also have a Great Dane named George, but we actually are kind of computer nerds and story nerds in our house. So a lot of our pets are named after either Game of Thrones, or in Scotty's case, he's named after Montgomery Scott from Star Trek.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome. That's awesome. So do you just race with Scotty, or does George also race with you? So in the thing coming up in October, the championships, is it just Scotty or both of them?
No, it's just Scotty. That's his job. That's what we do. Yeah. George, I think he could do it, but not at that level. It would just be more of a, what are we doing? This is fun.
Yeah. Well, I like how you said that, it just the bike George sounds like chaos, because I have seen friends of mine. I used to have a golden retriever and I would take him around the lakes. I understand the keeping your dog out of trouble, because if I did not take him out for 5 miles a day, something would be amiss in my household when I came home. And ironically and fabulously, when I took him out every day, he was perfect. So it's smart to all right, let's keep him out of trouble. Let's get that energy level out. But I don't know if I could ever, first of all, bike with my dog. So I'm with you in that camp. But to actually get to the point where you want to be in a race and you want to train with him, how did that happen for you?
Actually, it was interesting. I had seen some posts about a race down in Lakeville that happens every year called Run the Ritter. And it had a Canicross division. It wasn't necessarily one that creates points at the international or local national level, but I thought, well, this will be fun. I've always wanted to do a race with him. And so that's what we did. And I met a ton of people that actually do Canicross and bike tour. And now I've met people that do rig pole, and it's just changed our world.
Wow. And then when did you realize that, was it that first race that, hey, I could be good at this if I actually train for this?
Yeah. And I've run with my dog quite a bit, probably more than I should, because, it is helpful. You do run faster. It is kind of like a handicap. I would say I probably run 90 seconds per mile faster with him.
Wow.
But it definitely I'm older now, so I can't run as fast as I used to. And it's kind of like another rebirth for my running. So it just got really excited, and it really motivated me a lot. And I see how much he loves it. As soon as I wake up, he's up.
Oh, he's ready to go.
Yeah.
Were you a runner in school at all? You said that it kind of reinvigorated your running.
I did run a little bit in high school, but I found the love of running in my late 20s. And I've been running competitively for probably 22, 23 years, much slower now. But it was so much fun. And the local running scene here is just amazing. I just took part in the TC 10 mile on Sunday. And every year, thank you. Every year, I just love this community. And there's a huge Canicross community that's also developing, and it's also super supportive.
So did you know about Canicross running when you were just a runner, or when you found the Run the Ritter, that's the first time you've heard about it?
I thought of Canicross as just actually the act of running with your dog. I didn't realize how big of a sport it was.
Wow.
So now I had another. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, so now you're fully engrossed in it, though. So doesn't it feel like a whole different world for you now?
It does. It does. And I have to think about the heat. I have to think about so many things, because if it's too hot, I can't take him out. it's actually not safe for them. So you have to get up earlier. You have to do all kinds of things to make sure that it's safe for them. And if it's not, then they're left at home.
So there must be a lot of regulations then around that, especially concerning the dog.
Yes, the heat regulation is huge. A lot of races will, if the temps are going to get too high, they will adjust the start times to make sure it's safe for the dogs.
Wow. So there's perhaps 4 other Minnesotans that are taking part in this. So, and it's the first time that the Canicross Championships have ever been held in the United States. And lucky for us, it's close enough. It's in Wisconsin. Where in Wisconsin is it?
It's in Minocqua at Minocqua Winter Park. It's a nice ski hill in that area, and it's pretty hilly course. So it'll be interesting because a lot of the courses aren't as hilly around the, even in the US, but they're wide. They're not single track. They're not as technical, but they're still very doable. But this particular one is more hilly than others, from what I understand.
So people are going to go out to see it. Do you run for time, or do you run against other runners and their dogs in a straight line? Like, how is this set up for us?
Everybody's released in intervals so that nobody is mass starting, because they don't want, a whole big crash at the beginning or dogs getting entangled. So it's kind of like a time trial, but it's also, you want to catch the people in front of you, because you want to close the gap.
Yes.
But you run 2 days. So I'm not as sure on the bike drawer and the rig pull. I'm assuming they also have 2 days, but with the Canicross, we will run the course day 1, and then we will run it again day 2. And then they take your combined time, and that is what they place you as, is the fastest time over 2 days.
How nervous are you for it? Or have you been doing this so long you just get excited? I know there's a big difference in those 2 words, but it can mean a lot.
It's a little bit of both, but I think I'm excited about just being a part of the whole thing. There's going to be an opening ceremony, a closing ceremony. It's a whole week-long thing. There's 115-ish athletes from the US that are going to be there, and I'm excited about the experience, but also I'm excited to race, and I'm excited to race my guy. We were out doing hills this morning, and everything that I was saying to him was, race on, forward on, like go, try. And he's just excited. So it just makes me excited.
So what did you have to learn in particular? So totally different than, all right, when you first had Scotty, you wanted to run with him, but then when it became serious, what was the hardest adjustment?
Running down hills, because they don't
Sorry,
stop.
That sounds like a catastrophe.
They don't stop. And so instinct is to pull back because you don't want to fall. But everything my coach says is you have to go with it. You have to let him go. You just have to trust, and you have to go. And that's really, really been hard, because I'm not, I'm over 50 now. So the last thing I want to do is fall and break something. But
wow,
it's definitely a mental thing. You just have to let it go. And thankfully, most of the trails aren't that technical, so you're not dealing with rocks and stuff like that. So it's just a trust thing. You have to trust your dog. But also within reason, they have to know their command. So if he's pulling too much, then I have to say, hey, back. And then he needs to know to let up a little.
So until Scotty really knew his commands, how many times did you go face first flying down a hill?
Thankfully, I have not yet.
Really?
But that's because I've been running some more technical hills here that do have rocky terrain and or roots. So I don't let him go completely all out on the downhills when I know that that's there. When I do know that it's safe, then I let him go. So it's going to happen at some point, but thankfully, knock on wood, it hasn't happened yet.
Oh my goodness, Scotty's such a good boy. He listens when you say back. It's the ones that don't listen that might be a little scary when you're first undertaking this. Well, what has been your greatest joy with this so far?
How excited he is every day. And honestly, running with him has changed me as far as how much I enjoy getting out every morning, running for as long as I have. There are times when it gets to be a chore and you're like, ugh, I have to go run 8 miles today and I want to just sleep in. But when you know that they're excited about it, it really just gives you that extra motivation.
Let's take a break to take care of the business here. We are coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services Studio. We'd also like to thank presenting sponsor Lexus of Wayzata and Maplewood. And thanks as always to a great Minnesota company, Minnesota Masonic Charities.
Today, I want to talk a little bit about the Minnesota Masonic Charities. When you think about the Masons, I get it. You think about the funny hats, those pancake breakfasts, which are phenomenal. My dear friend John Schweitz and I have chatted about this, and it's so much more than that. They've got the Masonic home over in Bloomington. They've got the hospital for the children over at the U of M. They are the largest fraternal organization in terms of charitable needs in our country, and they deserve a ton of recognition. So thank you, Minnesota Masonic Charities, for all you do and for supporting us over here at Talk North, and a special thanks to my good friend, John Schweitz.
Now back to Dawn and Lorianne.
All right. So, Lorianne, we were talking about, and if people are just paying attention and listening in right now, how Lorianne Johnson, Minnesota native, is going to be in the upcoming World Dryland Mushing Canicross Championship. So they start October 20th. I think you told me it runs 2 days. And you're really excited for it. It's coming up in Wisconsin. It's such an honor, first of all, and congratulations to not only be excelling at a sport that you love, but to be able to represent your country in the process. How much does that mean to you?
It really means a lot. I applied just on a, what do I have to lose? I didn't really have as much behind me as other people probably have as far as years and qualifying races. But I thought, what do I have to lose? And the day I got the email where I got accepted, I just stared at my husband for like 10 minutes. He's like, what? And he didn't even know I applied. So of course I'm trying to explain it to him and I'm dumbfounded. And I kind of teared up a little. I wanted to run with the words USA on my chest when I was a little kid. But of course I was thinking, I was watching Bruce Jenner and Mary Lou Retton, and I thought, I want to go to the Olympics someday because we all have those dreams. Mm-hmm. And obviously, that wasn't going to happen. But to find something that did make it happen and to know that I'm going to be representing my country and that I'm going to be wearing Team USA on my chest, it's such an honor.
Oh, well, it's so well deserved. And it's just incredible that it's just here in our own backyard as well. So how many countries are involved? I know it's international and it's held in the States for the first time. So it must be held elsewhere around the world. How many countries about participate?
I believe the last I heard was around 23, 24.
Wow. Girl, this is the Olympics of your Canicross.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So what did your family say? What did your husband say when you could finally kind of tell him exactly what it was?
I mean, he was excited for me and he was excited for Scotty. I don't think he really knew what it meant at the time. But he's definitely excited for us and he's coming out. It's there's actually a full week of activities. My particular events are only for 2 days. Okay. But he's going to come out for those 2 days and watch us. And then I'm going to stay out there. And his support's just been everything. And my daughter is coming out with her friends. So it's going to be cool to have it be close enough where people can come.
Well, I also want to give you your flowers for being they always say once an athlete hits 30, we always hear so much with professional athletes, oh, he's in his 30s, like as if they're like in a cane and a rocking chair, right? So I want to give you everything that you have coming to you for a woman who, like you said, you're in your 50s and you are not only running with your dog 8 to whatever, how many miles a day you have to train, but to represent the USA. First of all, thank you for being a strong, athletic, amazing woman in that right. But that must make you feel pretty good that you are now an example that women don't have to just stop. Once they hit 30, they can still hit some dreams, right?
Yeah, thank you. I believe so. Some of my friends, I've seen them in their 40s do some of the best running that they've ever done. And I know we all reach a point where we do get a little bit slower, but that doesn't mean that we can't find other ways to excel. And for me, this has been that. And I still feel like I'm doing pretty good for my age in just running. But to be in this field of competitors, it's just such an honor. And I'm really proud to still be able to compete at my age.
Absolutely. How long are the days is the course? Is it an 8-mile course, 10-mile course? How long is the course?
It's actually more of a sprint. So It's 2.4 miles, 3.7K for the Canicross. And I believe Bike Jor, and then the rig pole has a little bit of a longer course. So ours is more hilly.
Time?
And it's
yours is hilly or not hilly?
The 2.4 one is more hills. My best time at what distance?
Well, you said there's a 2.4 and a 3.7K. Is that? Oh, that's the same. I think if I'm doing my math right. Yeah, that's my same. I'm like, I just got back from Europe. I know my metrics now. Okay, so let's just do the 3.7K. What's your fastest time?
I have never really run 3.7K specifically. My fastest 5K is just at 19 minutes. And I can run a mile. My fastest mile is at 5:40. So, but that was, like 15 years ago, 20 years ago. But
that's
now
okay.
I think
you're in the fives, girl. You're in the fives. I don't care how many years ago it was. That's awesome. And then 19 minutes with Scotty, right? 19 minutes for that, or
not with Scotty. I had another dog that I ran with prior to him. Bless his heart in heaven. But I mean, now my hope is to average 640 to 650. And so on trail and up and down hills, that's some work.
Yes. What would you say to any other athlete that's a runner that has dogs that never thought of putting the two together other than getting their dogs some exercise? What would you tell them about perhaps becoming a Canicross runner?
It's just a great time with your pet. It's a great time with your house friend. They love it. Even if they're not fast, just to be able to get out the door with them and give them that exercise. But it's a companion. It's like running with a team. There are mornings when I have to get out pretty early and I don't want to go out by myself. So the fact that I have him, it gives me confidence, but also we're working together and it's kind of a special time and a special moment. So I feel like if you have a dog that is capable, even if they're just a jogger, it's so worth it with the right equipment. There definitely is specific equipment that you want to get for the dog and for yourself. I know a lot of people wear those waist trainers with their dog, but there's an actual harness that's better for the person and their back. And then also for the dog to be able to move freely without having anything inhibited. But once you get that, it lasts forever.
Oh, that's what I was wondering. There must be a special harness so it doesn't hurt the dog or you. When you said that about the back, I'm like, oh my goodness, absolutely, right?
Yeah, I used to run originally with one of those ones that just goes around your waist, and my back was always hurting. And so I was really relieved when someone introduced me to, for me specifically, we use nonstop dog wear. And
what is that exactly?
It's kind of like a climbing harness for me. So I kind of step into it and snap it. And so all of the work is coming from my hips and from my glutes and my quads, where for Scotty, he has a nonstop dog wear free motion harness, which gives him completely free movement of his legs. And it attaches at the back of the harness where it kind of sits right above his tail. So he can move freely and there's nothing blocking him from going forward.
That sounds like that would be even better for dogs just going around the lakes.
Well, it's, you don't have as much control. I mean, you have control, but it's kind of like one of those retractable leashes where you kind of gotta, nope,
Oh,
otherwise
gotcha.
they might go say hi to someone who doesn't want it.
Yes. So your dog has to be so disciplined in so many different ways to participate in this.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He has his moments. Dogs, when they see birds and squirrels, definitely get excited. But I just have to verbally correct him. And I would say 95% of the time he listens. He's great about passing other dogs. He doesn't think twice about it. He knows to go right or left. It's really amazing what they pick up on and what they learn. But they're dogs, right? They're going to have a moment where they don't want to listen, or they see something, or they have to take a potty break. And there's just nothing you can do about it.
Oh my goodness. I bet you though, when you are in the race coming up, you say it's shorter, you can't anticipate. I mean, it could happen. Would you want to take a potty break?
This dog does not. Scotty is great. I don't know how he does it. He could go out the door having not done a single thing in the morning, and he will run the entire run without doing anything. But my other Vizsla, he, within seconds of starting, was always having to stop once, if not twice.
You're like, come on, man.
This is not helping us get faster.
This is not helping us get faster. Well, Lori-Ann, I'm so, first of all, thrilled for you. Really looking forward to seeing how this goes and representing the U.S. If people who are listening want to actually go and say, this sounds fascinating, I'm going to go, can you tell us what website they can go to find out more, and how they can support the sport, or how they can get involved?
Yeah, we have the IFSS World Championship page on Facebook, where all the information is being posted there. There's also Team USA, UFSS. So these are all sled dog sports. So there's one for the United States, and then there's one for the international, where all the information is posted there. We don't know anything yet about live streaming or what kind of live results there will be, but we're hopeful there will be something. And otherwise, I mean, go to Minocqua. Head out to the winter park. It's going to be so much fun, and the weather's going to be great.
Oh my goodness. I'm so excited for you. I'm looking forward to hearing all about it. Hopefully we'll get a follow-up from you. But thank you so much for introducing us to, because I know I had heard vaguely about it, but I was so fascinated to get you on when I heard from you, because I wanted to know more about Canicross running. I don't know much about mushing or bike joring, but all of that is just fascinating to me. So best of luck to you coming up. It is the World Dryland Mushing Canicross Championships. It begins October 20th out in Wisconsin. It's Lori-Ann Johnson and her awesome dog, Scotty. And we love George too. You're a great Dane, but you're not in this, George. We wish you and Scotty the best, Lori-Ann. Thank you so much for being on our podcast today.
No, thank you. Thank you so much to everyone who supported me. My amazing husband, my coaches, Joy and Nick Weiss with Lucky Fox Coaching, my North Star running team. Everyone's been great. And I'm excited. So thank you so much for having me. This was a pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you so much.